everybody, welcome back. It is a beautiful day where I'm at. The sky is blue. The roadway is mostly being traveled by people who are mindful of one another. There are clouds in the sky. And forgive me for tooting my own horn. I can run. I know that sounds kind of funny. You know, there are a lot of people who can run. I just want to make it clear that until very recently, I was unable to run more than a quarter mile continuously. It would severely cramp my style. It definitely was causing an issue. And actually, I should reverse that a little bit and say I had some issues that I had caused with regard to my ability to complete that task. That got me to thinking a little bit about something, a topic, and that topic is sprinting. Now, why would I even be curious about that? Why would I be concerned with sprinting, wanting to sprint, etc.? Well, one time in the past, I had a great need to take off running to reach somebody in time. And when I attempted to do that, I found that physically it almost caused me to fall over just to take off sprinting. Many of you might have a similar experience if you just up and try sprinting. One of the things that you will not experience failure from is from doing what you can already with gratitude. So if you've recently become, let's just say, so sedentary that some of your digits are not receiving proper circulation, the only thing we can do to counter that is to take into our own hands, our own minds, the actions and or mental clarity required to put a halt to all that sickness. The first thing to do is to consider nature one of the most therapeutic experiences that you can enjoy. And what if, for one weird reason or another, you had to take off sprinting, let's say to catch a toddler who was about to wander over and through a fence, on the other side of which is a significant drop-off. You had to take off sprinting. As families grow deeper and deeper generationally, I believe that even grandparents need to be able to take off sprinting immediately if there's an urgent need to do so. Sprinting is one way to exercise our demons. Sprinting is one way to engage muscle that we're not comfortable using on a regular basis if we're not confident that we can do it to begin with. So first we need to acclimate to being able to pick up the pace. Well, why not start with walking significantly faster than the walking speed that you had taken on before, that you're currently capable of. Now, I understand not everyone who's watching is going to be in the same physical state. Some of us might only be watching this at advanced stages of illness. That doesn't mean we can't try to be grateful with all of that which it took to get us to where we're at right now. And what if we had the urgent need to try and help someone else the way that we ourselves couldn't have been helped? In order to do that, we have to build ourselves up to do that. Physically, there's a responsibility when it comes to maintaining one's health. For all of us who are currently participating in and subscribing to only the medical profession, we might need to engage in a little bit of confession, a little bit of communication with one another. Sprinting is something that is imperative to our livelihood. When we begin to sprint, especially confidently because we've trained ourselves up to a certain level of capability, then we can begin to engage all of the additional opportunities for improvement. And those opportunities might be up to and including sprinting like as if someone's life depended on it. In our era right now, with everything being taken the way that it is, in what other timeline in your history did you have assassination attempts? It was some time back. The world was in flux. What would you propose that we are in right now? We're in a time where we need to be physically capable, where we need to forego all of the insights of our fathers that have been pretty negligent so far, continuing the old ways. It's great to have certain age groups seemingly be the only ones that are capable of getting on the ground, crawling around on their hands and feet, bear crawls. And yet it seems so almost imperatively necessary that we begin to re-educate ourselves as to why did we get sick to begin with. And how did we get so sick that we couldn't even help in someone else's time of need? Sprinting. What do you guys think? Are they necessary sprints, or are they something that we could be just retiring away at a young age, younger and younger ages? It's like I've done reverse retirement. I've gone from having a substantial amount of savings to unlimited wealth. And all of what I can bestow upon myself, wealth-wise, the most important of it is stored without any device, without any adornment, and with absolute gratitude for being able to do these things and for the opportunity to learn to do new things in the interest of keeping our cognitive health, physical health, spiritual, or what we'll just call wellness, well-being, general well-being in a positive state. That's really all it takes. From there, where we are at, that's where the seed grows. You've already germinated. You've already germinated. All of us we're past germination. And now what? Now that we're saved for this purpose, we've been saved into this situation. Now what? So, gratitude, addiction, cohesiveness. It all fits into one. It's all one picture. Is this spiritual at all, what we're talking about? Are we helping one another to become the best versions of ourselves? What does it amount to? What do we have to show for it? That's the number one question that grown-ups will ask me. So, in a way, I feel like we have to be able to sprint like our lives depend on it, because some people just can't. There's no cognition. There's no recognition. There's no recall. And part of that is the same thing that happens to our muscles. Our muscles do not recall how to sprint. Not by default, if we haven't done it for decades. It's not the same as riding a bike. It's much more dangerous to just take off sprinting. So, I think that was cohesive. What do you guys think? I hope you click on the thumbs up. I hope you subscribe. I hope this makes sense. I can see the youth that comes from doing the things that a youth does. There's a certain point of discipline that's straight up punishment for many adults. And that turns into limiting fear. The fear we can't have a conversation if we can't agree on whether or not the king has left the building. What can I say? When it all makes sense, it just makes sense. So for anyone who says it doesn't make sense, I beg to differ. In fact, I've begged for an apology in the past. I haven't received it. I'm not even begging for an apology. I'm more in the line of asking for people to stop repeating those things towards me. I refuse it. I refuse the lie. Sprinting is necessary. Part of our basic medical insight out of everything that I've learned at my advanced age of healing is that we need to apply ourselves physically just as much as we do mentally. For all of the people who are thinking of all the mental comebacks and put downs and everything, it's great, but it's not as great as focus, extreme focus, especially in the presence of danger and errors and corruption. You never know when you're going to have to take off running, if not just to find cover from something that is in your presence that wants to kill you. That's the energy I absorb and feel from people in my own personal groups. I'm in the presence of a lot of murderous people. People who would say, this is a rant. It's just the truth. A lot of people are holding back, and we don't know how far we're holding back because we don't know how far that fear goes back, because for whatever reason, we're afraid, and it's most likely having to do with the fact that we can't take off sprinting if we needed to. The only thing we have is our mental wit, our mental quippets, our mental quips. We just have our responses to one another. How can someone be how can someone insult someone better than I can insult people the best because I know what would make me uncomfortable in a very negative way. That's the kind of thing that I was put down with. There's a plane doing loop-de-loops right now. Here, I'll show you. I hope that worked, and I hope you got to see that. It was very difficult to try and guess whether I was aiming in the right direction or not. But this is the kind of thing that I see along the way. There's always danger that's associated with it. And mind you, if you had seen all the rest of the picture, there was a lot of danger associated with showing you what I just showed you. Sometimes I'm in the proximity of other danger, more natural danger. Wildlife, real wildlife. And some of the wildlife, I don't think that we've even really discovered yet. Because some of the encounters that I've heard while I've been in these remote places seem different from what we are currently aware of as far as beings that are in these forested and deserted areas. There are a lot of people in my circles, in my personal circles, who will talk at length about the supernatural. I guess it's not even the cryptozoological. Some of that might be interwoven. Some of these things that we see might be perceived by us as something and by someone else as something else entirely. Whoever's looking at me right now might be thinking one thing completely opposite from what you're thinking. That's the way the whole circumstance is when judgment's involved. When you remove fear, when you remove judgment, when you remove the filter, and you do it knowingly, knowing that basically what's going to come forth is going to be either honorable or it's something that you maliciously chose to interject. When you live without fear and when you're able to figure out, I can sprint if I need to rescue myself. I can talk calmly enough to rescue myself in a conversation. I can paint a picture that's so clear. I'm passing a sign that says buy dirt. So here they sell dirt. So it's all interwoven. I feel the energy, whether it's virtual, whether it's perceived, whether it's a translation occurrence, but I'm also resonating a certain energy because of what I was met with for so long. And I bet you if I could have sprinted back then, I would have sprinted right to the neighbors and asked for help. The only problem is that in today's world, I didn't have to sprint, and verbally, I did ask the neighbors for help. They didn't help. I don't mean my neighbors. My neighbors are great neighbors. I meant the neighbors of the person who got robbed in my family of all their property. That's what I mean. So I hope all of this message is as clear as can be. Why is sprinting important? It's important because certain people know other people. And some of those people work for organizations that apparently have employees that are also often known as goons. So when you say a lot of true things, when you talk the truth and you start encountering certain circumstances, bringing things to light in ways that maybe that's not the picture the person's painting, and they're doing it in a very public and profitable way. So when it comes to sprinting, the fact is, I'm not going to run from a conversation. I'm not going to run my mouth either. I'm simply going to present the facts the way they are in a circumstance that allows all of the participants, and especially the formerly unmoved non-participants, to get into motion and start doing something. Could be good or bad. I hope it's more thumbs up than thumbs downs. And I hope that we're all having a great day. So that's why sprinting is important. There's a lot of power. There's also a lot of power in our ancestry. And when our ancestry doesn't allow us to have a conversation at the table and they continue to say things that maybe are not true, maybe that's why you're not included at your family gatherings, remember, all of that extra weight that you're bearing is part of what it is that's taking you through this session to overcome everything. You have to just put in the time and gratitude. The effort, it's almost like no effort at all when you have gratitude. It becomes more and more easy. You get cloudy days with clear skies and hopeful possibilities of seeing the northern lights while you're traveling with an unplanned plan to do what it is that you're here to do. And know this makes sense for a lot of you. I know it because the subscriptions keep going up. And so I know there's people who understand what I'm saying. Maybe it's too scary to resonate this information in truth. Maybe you've been afraid that other people can't see synchronicities. And every time I see it, they told me I was crazy. The thing about the anxious people taking medications and all that is that many of us are and have been in the past masking symptoms for illnesses that we should have been treating first. And I think the healthier that I get, the less frequently that I'm even exposed to any kind of possibility of feeling sick, the more fun it is to do what I do, the more I feel like I need to dedicate to, in gratitude, glorify what it is that I'm capable of doing. So sprinting, again, no matter how I say it, from what perspective, truth is truth. The string theory is, I'm just saying what's true. And so I get surrounded by all kinds of different things that orbit around me. Some of them are the ones that want to make me, that want to push a button. That is what helped cause me to be in the right place at the right time. Even the conversations that I've had, for all the reasons that I've had them, and they've also put me in my place, rightfully so. Hopefully we're assigning each other to those places of brightness, those places of elevation that we intend to put each other up to. One of my father's siblings said I was putting them down. I've only ever said the truth. The actions that were negative are what puts someone down. The fact that those actions continue is the only reason that I continue to even talk about these topics. Knowing for a fact that my friends and family can hear this, and that all of these things come to light, just as surely as the sun continues round and round. It's a cycle, sure. But what side are we pushing on? Are we rowing together? And if we're rowing together collectively and we're all seemingly having anxiety because we're taking something to mask the symptom, then maybe we should be concerned that we can't be sprinting if we needed to at a moment's notice. I hope you sprint to clicking on the thumbs up, to subscribing, and to sharing why sprinting is important to this crazy cat down the road. Until next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff.